Hey everybody, welcome to beautiful London, Ontario, here in the liminal space of the Doubletree Hilton. You don't need to know that. I'm here with
Matt Chalmers,
Erich Preston.
and they do the music and sound
Yes.
for Warframe, which is, I'm really excited to talk to you two because I do music and sound stuff too, kind of, so I know a little bit, not nearly as much as you guys though, I'm sure. First things first, big new thing this year, TennoConcert. Tell me about translating the music and stuff from a game setting where you can do it in the room, take your time, to a live concert. How's that been?
Yeah. Oh, both? Yeah. It's been pretty wild. Here, I'll use this one. Yeah, it's interesting because, we write all this music for in-game, and I'm especially making sure the instrumental works in-game first, and then I sort of think, okay, let's add some vocals and make it more like a song, and then I start thinking about that aspect of it, but I'm like, oh, now I have to do all of these things live. Yeah. And some of them involve some pretty taxing vocals that I just made up on the spot one day and put them through some filters and fix them up, and it's oh, now I have to do all of those back to back. Why did I do this? So, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun to figure out how to translate it to a live setting, and yeah, you're in for a treat, I think.
Yeah. I saw you guys play, God, it was in LA, it was before Game Awards maybe?
Yeah.
And I didn't know, they were there's going to be live music, and I'm okay, cool, they hired a local band, or they got a mariachi band or something, and which would have been great. And then you walk up and I'm oh, okay, it's okay, game music, and then Reb picks up a bass, and I'm of course. Of course Reb plays a fucking bass. That makes sense. Yeah, and I suppose I hadn't even thought about that, where it's in game it has to things have to loop or take as long as they take in game, and you have to fashion it into a song. Yeah. And yeah, seeing you guys sing it last year, you were growling and chanting and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and I was it's pretty good. It's good stuff. Thanks. Okay, so back to the game and about sound effects and sound design kind of stuff, but also music. Something I love about Warframe is how kind of married those two often are. I think about Jade, for example, is maybe the easiest example, where the abilities incorporate a lot of the musical cues and stuff, and they are in key with the music all the time and stuff like that. What's the process like when it comes to sound design? Do you consider, obviously it seems like you're considering the music and vice versa. Can you talk to me about that process, kind of?
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the benefits that we have is all of the sound eventually comes through me at the end. So I kind of always get to have a kind of bird's eye view on, what Matt's doing and what the sound design team is doing and what the dialogue team is doing. So yeah, it's always on my mind to say, okay, where can we blend the lines? How do we blend it together? For Jade Shadows, we were doing a choir session. Yeah. And that's just a good example of where it was oh, you know what, if we're recording the choir, then why don't we just get them to do a whole bunch of crazy choir vocal effects? I love that. So the sound designer who was working on the Warframe, Mark Perkin, he came with us to this session, and he was there and helped be oh, can we grab some of this? Can we grab a little bit of that? So just getting people together and giving them the tools that they need to make a cohesive sound package. Yeah. So, yeah.
How often does the sound design inspire the music, or the music inspire the sound design? Have you ever heard a noise that somebody made and then be oh hell, I'm using that as a bass line or something, or vice versa? Does that ever happen?
One scenario I can think of is when I was writing some music for Man on the Wall, and you showed me the initial chant. I think the first Man on the Wall chant is just this big whoa, whoa, whoa. So then I think the void speaking on some of the whispers in the walls stuff kind of came from that. Okay. And so I was okay, how do we make this slightly more musical and not just a sound effect? but it made me find that like Yves Bokris gallery, you know, like that kind of like creepy void speak that I do, and then
before Dune too.
Yeah, yeah.
Technically, yeah.
You didn't start a car chant before they did that. I think so.
Were they playing Warframe? Oh.
Yeah, somebody's stealing.
Hans, come on, man.
There are a lot of weird, kind of like otherworldly situations in Warframe. Do you have favorite weird sound sources or instruments that you've used over the years? Like anything crazy?
Yeah, maybe I can like something that relates to what we were just talking about with the void tongue and hearing the man in the wall for the first time. So that very first man in the wall chant that you hear at the end of the New War, I was sitting in my basement working because I was working from home at that point, and looking at this cinematic going like, what do I do? He comes on the screen, this giant smiling wall.
Yeah.
So I was looking through sounds and I found this walrus call that just went, hoo,
Walrus?
hoo. It had that classic kind of dual tone thing, and put that in, and I was like, oh my God, I think this might be it. And then we put the words on top of it afterwards.
Okay.
And that's kind of where the first man on the wall vocal came from. So yeah, walruses.
It's in the name, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Do you ever experiment with like hammered dulcimers or anything? I love hammered dulcimers, but any weird other instruments?
Yet, but actually, speaking of Jade Shadows, we used a shakuhachi player.
Oh, yeah.
And he was really cool. Shout out Akeem. He makes them himself out of bamboo. And I gave him a melody, and he was like, okay, I think I need to make an instrument for this to work.
Well, because none are in that key.
Well, and yeah, because it was like there was 2 different keys, and he was like, this key is great for it. This key, I'll try and make it work. But he had a bunch of different ones, so I think he ended up like recording. I don't know what he did, but it was awesome, and it's such a cool instrument, and it was really fun to like find. He would just send me like, hey, I came up with some more ideas. Like he was just so keen about it, and just sent me like all these files, and I was like, okay, cool. And I just started playing around with it, and they're all hidden in that track.
Such a human sound. It's so breathy.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah, and he did these like, he called them chords, but they're basically just like overtones where he's like kind of throat singing and also getting 2 or 3 notes at the same time. And yeah, so lots of little effects in there.
Do you often find that the process is that collaborative with the musicians as well, or is that kind of a standout?
Depends on the scenario. Like sometimes it's very just like, I just need this vocal from you. Just do it exactly as I did my demo, but with your voice and your. And then sometimes if it's something more like that, where I'm like, hey, just do your thing. I just want the like texture of your unique instrument. I'm just like, let's get the melodies that I've written, but let's also like give me some stuff that's unique to your instrument that I wouldn't know because I'm not like a shakuhachi expert or a Greek bouzouki expert or whatever, you know. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, and you've been like getting a lot of live musicians on a lot of the music we've been doing for the past few updates. Yeah. And I think that's been. I remember having that conversation like 2 years ago where we were just going, whenever we can, let's get a live musician on there because oh man, it just brings that little extra human touch. Yeah.
The life to, and you have a lot of staff. They said earlier that there are some staff members playing in the concert. Are those people who just like, did you put out a little email that was like, hey, can anybody sing or play guitar or whatever? And then somebody was like, kind of. Or was that like, did you hire people to do that? Or
it was more, since Reb wanted to play bass, she was like, let's get some other people. Like, I want Eric to play. I want George to be up there, you know? So we kind of treated it like, you know, let's take some of the higher up DE people and force them to go on stage against their will.
Thanks for that.
And so there'll be some special guests.
I love it. It keeps it kind of like, I don't know, human and fun. Warframe is known for big expansions and little expansions and new Warframes all the time and stuff like that. What's very briefly, because I imagine it's a complicated process, but like, What's the process from like conception to delivery on a new Warframe or a new expansion on the sound front?
Yeah, we work super fast. As you know, our dev cycles are very quick. So we don't really spend a lot of time thinking about what we're going to do, and we're very much like off the cuff kind of vibe. We try to follow the vibe as much as we can and iterate as quickly as possible. So it's usually like, let's try a couple things very, very quickly, see what works and what doesn't work, and then we'll kind of commit to a direction. And then once we've found that direction, it's just about like leaning in and having fun. So not overthinking things too much, not second guessing ourselves, and just saying, you know what, okay, this is what we're doing, and let's do it. Let's do it. Let's be bold.
Sometimes depending on the scenario, I might have like a week or two with a track, and I might have a month or two. So it really also just depends on that. So if I'm in a situation where it's like a week or two, it's like I just gotta hope that whatever happens those 2 weeks, just whatever happens. And and it's funny to like be putting together TennoConcert and thinking back like, oh yeah, I did that in the middle of a move, and I was also like so studio was changing over, and my voice was rough that day, just all these things. It's like people wouldn't know, but now it's like, okay, now perform the song live. Like such an interesting scenario to be in.
I mean, it's a testament to the talent of the team then that you can iterate that quickly and kind of just like that the first draft is good enough that you can be like that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Like everybody on the sound team, all the sound designers and Matt, obviously, as a composer, like super talented people. So yeah, we're just surrounded by people who can do things to the best of their ability. And yeah, I think it's about having fun too and not being nervous.
That's
I think
so
it's
key.
just like,
just let it go.
Yeah, you just let it go and kind of lean into it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I find anything where you second guess yourself too much is where things slow down.
Don't get in your head.
Exactly.
Last thing, so for 1999, I was and I hadn't gotten spoiled by a trailer on this. 9 Inch Nails shows up in the soundtrack, right? Which is the first, I think, licensed track you guys ever did.
Very first, yeah.
I was just curious about influences on music and any other kind of thing. Like, are there any other, like, sometimes I'm like, okay, that's obviously like, Deftones or whatever kind of influences that, but like, are there any other like fun, weird influences that you all have?
Yeah, I think we're always grabbing from obscure influences. I mean, we listen to the obvious ones, but I'm always pushing to like find some very obscure one, even if it's just like I like the guitar on this song,
right?
And maybe it's like a classical guitar piece, and I'm like, oh, that would work well in whatever I'm working on. And Erich is always sending me some references where I'm like, what is this? No. It's more like, okay, I see what he's saying about this. Like, now how the hell do I include it in this like completely different scenario,
Yeah, sometimes it's like just about the essence of the reference. Like it's not about like the exact what is in it sonically, but more about the feeling that it gives.
Which honestly, I love that, because then it's not like you're being like, let's get as close to this like guitar riff as possible. It's like you're saying like this guy played a makeshift like one-man band kind of setup thing, and I like that sort of sound for this like
it's a good example of a weird reference.
A weird thing like that where I'm like, okay, how do I translate this to like a Warframe piece?
I love that. Like when I was doing bands in Chicago or whatever, I would always, because I have a very visual kind of mind or whatever, I would always be like, to the guitarists and bassists or whatever, I would be like, okay, like a desert, but like kind of gray, and you can see the cracks in the ground, and then they would just be like, okay, and I'd be like, that. So I really appreciate that kind of thought process with out of the box examples. Cool. I don't know, anything else you want to say?
Can't wait for everyone to see what's coming up next.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep cooking.
I'm excited too. We're filming this before I've seen any of the new stuff, so I'm excited to see what and the concert is tomorrow from our perspective, even though it was a few days ago for you. But yeah, I'm excited to see it and break a leg on stage, both of you, apparently. All right, check out easyallies.com. We do all kinds of weird stuff. Podcasts, live streams, interviews, obviously. Patreon.com/easyallies. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Thank you, too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.